What's up, everybody? Oh my God, it has been such a long time since we've seen each other. It's been, wow, probably over a month by now, right? We had a lot of exciting things happening the last time we were together. I had bought that 300,000 card collection. I'm super excited to tell you guys how that happened and what we've done with the collection so far. But that's not going to happen in this video. Since then, I've also bought several other collections. I've increased my collection size by several 100,000 cards again, but we're also not going to talk about that in this video. What I do want to talk about, though, is something that I think is very important and doesn't get a lot of attention. We do sell a lot of cards online, and one of the things that we pride ourselves on is the card packaging and how we send those cards out to our customers. And that's kind of what I want to cover today. Little tips and tricks that if you sell online you may not be aware of. Maybe you do some of this stuff, maybe you do all of this stuff, maybe you do stuff that's better than this, and I'd love to hear that in the comments below as well. But I'm going to show you what I do and how I send cards out, or what we do and how we send cards out, because I'm obviously not the only one who does that. But yeah, let's go through that. First and foremost, I think it's really important to organize your cards in a way that you know what you have, and you know, if it's in inventory, can you list it, etc. And when you're working with large amounts of cards, that becomes increasingly more difficult, right? So if you've just you know, got a collection that's a couple thousand cards, it's really easy to keep track of what you got. You know what cards you have, what cards you don't have, etc. But when you're using you know, hundreds of thousands of cards as a basis for your sales, that becomes much more difficult, exponentially so, unfortunately. So I'm going to show you a box of tokens. We've organized several thousand tokens in the box and labeled every single one of them, so that when we sell a token online, we can easily find what we're looking for. The tokens are not grouped by any particular set. They are actually grouped alphabetically, right? So we start with the A's. We label every single token that we have, every single different token. For example, there's several elemental tokens, so we don't bunch those together. We've got red elemental star, red elemental 1-1, red elemental 2-2, red elemental 3-1, red elemental 4-4. Actually, that's not a red elemental, that's a green elemental 4-4. So we do separate all these. If they've got certain abilities and they've got the same power and toughness as another token, we separate that out as well. So for example, there's a red 1-1 elemental, and then there's a red 1-1 elemental with haste, and that would be separated out as well, so that we can find exactly the token we're looking for, and we're not going to make a mistake when we pull a token for a customer. All right, so that's just the tokens. But we pretty much try to organize as much of the collection as possible in that manner, so that it's very easy to find. I'm not saying that you know, this is the best system, but this is what works for us. If you've got a system that works for you, that's great. But if you don't have a system, I highly recommend that you think about how you want to organize your cards in such a way that when you do have a large amount of cards and you do sell online, you know, that you organize them in some fashion that's going to help you with your orders. So a little tip and trick here for my assistant off to the side, pointing stuff out to me again. She does that in some of the videos, as you know. But anyway, one of the things that she mentioned was letting you know what we're using here. And basically, I'm using 110-pound cardstock for these dividers. I found that it's super cheap, very effective. They're stiff enough that they actually hold up instead of a regular piece of paper that tends to bend and fall and slip inside here sometimes. 110 pounds cardstock is good enough to actually hold up. And one sheet of paper, if you cut that 8 ways, this is exactly what it makes. It's tall enough to sit in a box, be above the card line, and so that you could read it. Very easy to read. If you've got messy handwriting, I'm sorry, you know, but get somebody who's got good handwriting. You know, being able to read these cards is important. I use white. I've recently acquired some green as well, green 110-pound cardstock, because I just wanted to add some color. We've been looking at white for so long. I figured throwing the green in there would be fun. So yeah, 110-pound cardstock. I've got the green on Amazon for about $10 for, I believe, 250 sheets, which is not bad. This white cardstock I've been buying at Walmart for 150 sheets. It's under $6. It's like $5.46 at Walmart plus tax. So that's pretty much the cheapest I've found. Even online, you're not going to find as good a deal as that, or I haven't been able to find as good a deal as that. And I will be going over things like that in this video. What's cheap, what's not, where have I found it the cheapest, the items that I use for fulfilling my orders. All right, so that's card organization, very important. Behind me you see different things that I use. When I'm mailing out cards, singles especially, I like to use the 6 3/4 envelopes. They're the smaller, they're not letter size. One of the benefits to this is that the card doesn't slide around, the protector doesn't slide around as much in this envelope. It's a smaller envelope. When you fold the paper, the invoice, which I always provide invoices with all of my orders, when you fold that paper, it folds in there pretty easily and helps to hold that card protector, from floating around in the envelope very much. The cheapest place I've found these envelopes is also Walmart. You get 100 envelopes for $1.97. I've searched extensively on Amazon. I've searched on eBay. I've searched different online stores, and the price is always more than what I found these for at Walmart. So $1.97 is what I paid for the last time I bought these. It's 100 envelopes. That's basically 1.97 cents, or just under 2 cents for an envelope. And when I've done the math for like 500 envelopes, 1,000 envelopes online, inevitably it's been more expensive than 1.97 cents an envelope. So I just get them at Walmart. You'll find the same brand online sometimes. Again, they're more expensive when you're buying them from eBay. So I recommend Walmart for the envelopes. Yep. All right. Next, we've got the Ultra Pro sleeves. I like to use these sleeves. These are the 3 3/16 by 4 1/4. They've got a number here. Let me see if I can remember what the number is. The stock number is 43,000, and then AW 2001 here on the bottom of the box, if you can see that. I prefer this sleeve over the other hard sleeve. This is a flexible sleeve. So this is what the sleeve looks like. And I know a lot of people really do like those hard sleeves. But one of the things that I find is when you put a card in here versus the hard sleeve. Let me reach over and grab a card. So when you're using the hard sleeve, let's see, I've got a hard sleeve in here somewhere. When you're using the hard sleeve and you put the card in there, but of course if I could see, I'm half blind, put the card in there, that card comes out pretty easily. Of course it's not going to do that now, but you know, going through the mail, you can see the sleeve started to pop out of there. This sleeve is more flexible.
That's a thinner one of those.
This is flexible, thinner sleeve, but it's also deeper, and it holds the cards better. So I find when you get the card down in there and that seals up, that is really not coming off of there at all. So it holds the card better than these sleeves that have this much wider opening in them, and that they tend to fall out of here all the time. If you don't like the flexible sleeve and you prefer the hard case here, the hard sleeve here, this is what I recommend. This is what I started doing when I was using these exclusively before I found these. I used tape that was easy to peel off, so the easy peel tape. And then what I do is I fold both ends on both sides. I don't know if you can see that. So there's a tab there and a tab there, so that when the person gets the card, they can easily just grab this tab, and since you're using the easy peel tape, it just peels right off, and they get no gunk on their plastic case. I tell you, it's a pet peeve of mine. One of the most annoying things I find is when I get a case like this from somebody who shipped me a card and they use really sticky gummy tape and they don't do something like this, and it takes me forever to take that tape off of there. I don't even try anymore. I just end up throwing those plastic cases away because inevitably they end up being super sticky. They stick to other cases when I put them together, and I really don't like it. So I started thinking about that years ago when I did this, and for probably the last 6 or 7 years, if I use a hard case like this, anytime that I've used a hard case like this, I've basically used the easy peel tape and the tabs so that it's super easy for your customers to remove that card from there, and then they get a nice plastic case that they can use, or they can use to ship out one of their cards instead of some yucky, sticky, goopy mess that that they can't do anything with, or they don't want to do anything with. So yeah, if you're going to use the hard plastic cases, I highly recommend that. Otherwise, I recommend this softer, more flexible case, and I just write "Do Not Bend," or actually, I don't write it. I have a stamp now that says "Do Not Bend." I just put "Do Not Bend" on red ink on the envelope, and I rarely have a problem where the post office does something to the envelope. And if they do, it happens whether you've got a hard case or a soft, flexible case. Really, whatever, if it gets caught in the machine, the same thing's happening to both those things. The envelope's going to get torn, and generally the cards are okay. Interestingly enough, I've had plenty of cards mailed back to me from the post office because the envelope's been opened or something like that, undeliverable, and they stick it in a different envelope and send it to you. And the cards, either case they come in, the cards come out okay. All right.
You also fold the paper over too.
So that is plastic cases. So next we're going to cover how we actually pack these cards up. Now let me take this out of here. This happens to just be a Drake token, so doesn't really, it's a token. So we generally just put it in a penny sleeve like this and ship it out. But one of the things that I've recently started doing with more expensive cards that we don't want to get damaged and we don't want falling out of the sleeve is taking those cards, whether you have one or two, and or four, whatever. If you're putting a play set in there, that's fine as well. So I have a bunch of old sleeves here from decks that I used to play, and I just don't play them anymore. So I take the sleeves and I still use them for things. All of my foils, by the way, go into these types of sleeves before they go into a binder. But I also use these for shipping. So if this was, say, like a $10 card or something like that, and I didn't want it to get damaged, what we've recently started doing is putting it into this sleeve here, that way, and then taking a penny sleeve and putting it in the other way. And it takes a little bit of practice. Let's see if I can, there we go. But it doesn't take that much time at all. And then when it goes into this flexible sleeve or the other one, it's significantly more protected from falling out at all. It just goes in there double like this. All right, it's not that hard to do. When I first started trying to do this, it was pretty hard to get these into the penny sleeve, but once you start working with it, they really slide in almost no time at all. As you saw, it just took a couple seconds to get in there. And I feel the protection that this offers a card, especially from dust, from falling out, slipping out of there. I see some people, what they do is they like to tape the top of the sleeve here, but inevitably what happens sometimes, and I've seen it happen, is that card slides up, and then I've seen it get stuck on that tape, and I've actually had cards get damaged because they've gotten stuck to that goopy tape that people use, as opposed to the easy to peel tape that I use. So you put a piece of really sticky tape over something like this, and then you use just a single sleeve without the penny sleeve protecting it like that, and the card slides out of the sleeve up into that tape, and then it's really not very good for the person trying to get that card out of that protected sleeve, protected case there. All right, So just a couple more things to cover here. As I said, I always send out an invoice with all my orders. The invoice is on 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So generally the way I do is I just fold this 3 ways like I would a letter. And then I take it and I put it over the sleeve like this. And then that goes into the envelope. And this also, as I mentioned, this also offers some additional protection so that it doesn't slide around there. As you can see, there's not that much give there. And since the paper is covering the top of the sleeve, if this does slide out to the size of the envelope, that card is not sliding out at all. And if it does slide out, it's protected by 3 sheets of paper on either side. So the thickness of 3 sheets of paper plus the envelope. So that's the way I do it. All right, we just fold it so that it fits in here, and then we use these self-sealing envelopes, and we mail that out. If the package is a little bit bigger, I use 2 different bubble mailers. I believe this is size 000 and this is size 00. So again, if I'm sending out maybe 2 play sets or 6 cards or something that's too thick, I feel is too thick for this envelope or for the machinery, or maybe the card is a little bit more expensive and I want to protect it instead of just putting it in a plain white envelope, I want to put it in a bubble mailer so that it has some additional protection. I do the same thing here. I put the paper across it, and then I jam it in here, and it sits in here and then gets sealed up and doesn't really move anywhere. Bubble mailers, interestingly enough, I do not buy at Walmart. They are super expensive when you buy them there. So this is one of the items that I do almost exclusively buy these on eBay. These are craft envelopes. I find that you can get, I usually buy them in lots of 500, and at the 500 price point, you're really paying just a few pennies for these envelopes. Again, so this is for singles that I want to protect in a bubble mailer. This is the perfect size for that. And something a little bit larger, if I'm sending out, say, a dozen cards or more, they go in this larger envelope. We also ship some of our smaller decks in here, protected by these hard plastic cases on either side. They will generally go into a large sleeve and then be protected on both sides with this. We tape this with the non-sticky tape so you can get it off easily, and then it goes into the envelope and gets sealed. Alright, so that is pretty much our operation and how we do shipping here. I hope you found this video helpful. I thought it was probably going to be around 10 minutes. Unfortunately, it's turned into an 18-minute video. But if you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, leave them below. Please like this video, share this video, and I look forward to the next video. I should be coming out with something about the collections that we bought very soon. I've got a lot of footage from picking those collections up and from our sorting and our organizing of those collections, but I've just got to put those videos together, edit them, and post them up. The other thing I like to mention is I'm going to leave a link in the description below for the eBay store. If you like the content and you want to support us by buying some of the cards on eBay, the link will be below. Feel free to visit the store if there's anything that you like there. You can always email me, send me any suggestions, any content that you want to hear, and hopefully you found this informative, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again. Don't forget to smash the like button and share this out if you found it informative. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Boop! Hey, look who it is. I'm back. So in that last video, it bothered me a little bit when I was showing you how to fold the piece of paper. I really just, in the interest of time and rushing through that, I folded it in 3 parts, and it did not fit in the envelope properly, and that is not the way I normally fold a piece of paper, the invoices that I send out with my orders. So I just wanted to correct that little piece in the video because it was bothering me, and show you guys how I actually fold this thing. So you're not going to be able to fold this 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper perfectly in 3 ways, in 3 folds, so that it fits in that white envelope. So generally what I do is there's an address listed up here at the top of the invoice. I usually take this and I push it, I fold it up towards the address so that there's not that much space left at the top, if you can see that. And then I take it when it's folded like this, and we're going to fold it again. And it folds much thinner that way. You will see that it's folded this way on the inside, right? It folds much thinner that way, and when you put it on the card protector here and then in the envelope, you can easily seal it, and it fits perfectly in there, and you just seal this down like that. And when I was reviewing the video after I filmed it, I said, man, I rushed through that piece and I didn't show you how I fold paper. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you were following my instructions and you're folding the paper, you'd be like, what the heck is this guy talking about? It doesn't fold and fit in the envelope at all, and those envelopes suck, or he doesn't know how to fold paper, or both of those things. But in fact, I was just trying to rush through the video because I saw that it was running long. And now, congratulations, this video has run even longer by 1 minute and 49 seconds. So thanks again for watching. If you got to the end of this, you'll know how to fold the paper properly and how to get it in this envelope. Otherwise, you'll probably call me an idiot and not follow any of the instructions in this video because I don't know how to fold paper. Catch you next time.